After an incredible weekend of GAA action, let's take a look at 10 conclusions from an action-packed few days of football and hurling across Ireland. 10. Limerick are dark horses. Going into Saturday's Munster senior hurling game with Cork, questions were posed of John Kiely's Limerick. Was this young side the real deal? Could they finally deliver for a county so used to underachieving? Kiely's men aren't Munster champions yet, but they put in a performance that proved to everyone that they damn sure could be. Down to 14 after key forward Aaron Gillen was sent off, Limerick fought and managed to rescue a point against an impressive Cork side at Pair Guichawimh. 9. Waterford buckled under pressure. Let's completely disregard any controversial decisions from Waterford's Munster Senior Hurling Championship draw with Tipperary over the weekend. That'll be discussed later. Strip that away, and Derek McGrath's men let an 11-point lead slip in just 16 minutes at the Gaelic grounds. Having looked initially comfortable despite being down to 15 men, Waterford's defensive walls crumbled midway through the second half, allowing Tips forwards to pile on the pressure and initiate an historic comeback. Yes, the decision to award Tips' goal from Jason Ford was a controversial one, but the way in which Waterford threw this game away will surely be a more pressing issue for Derek McGrath to address. 8. Offaly needed to be relegated. It's hard not to feel sorry for the Offaly hurlers. A blowout 24-point defeat last weekend and a 17-point loss this weekend condemned the faithful county to relegation to the Joe McDonagh Cup next season. Offaly put up good performances against both Galway and Kilkenny but were defeated in all 4 of their Leinster Senior Hurling Championship games. Perhaps, though, their relegation will help Kevin Ryan's young squad as they look to continue building. The standard of the Joe McDonagh Cup is strong and there's no doubt that Offaly will be contenders, which could be just the confidence boost that this promising squad of hurlers need. 7. Galway football continues its growth. As comprehensive a victory as you're likely to see in any of the later rounds of the 4 provincial tournaments, Galway smoked Sligo in the Connacht semi-final by 21 points. Indeed, Sligo were poor but Galway showed a relentless streak in dismantling their rivals, continually raking up scores even after the game, as a contest, had concluded. With Mayo out of the picture, the tribesmen should stride to Connacht glory, and should they continue to put up performances like this, could test the country's big hitters. 6. Fatigue is a serious problem for Davy Fitz and Wexford's hurlers. A flat performance is not something to tend to expect from Davy Fitz's Wexford side. On Saturday, as they fell to a convincing defeat at the hands of All-Ireland champions Galway, that's exactly what they were. Flat. Perhaps it's the schedule taking its toll on Wexford. This was after all their 3rd game in a row, none of which were at all easy. Speaking to the Sunday game, Davy Fitz mentioned how his side had only trained for 20 minutes this week, but there's no doubt that they are feeling the effects of a busy period. With Kilkenny waiting next week, there is no let-up in sight for the Slaney siders, and perhaps some rotation is required as they look to bounce back. 5. Joe Canning is the best hurler on the planet. In the end, Wexford proved no match for an impressive Galway at Wexford Park. Davy Fitz's men looked tired and lethargic, but Galway were sharp and punished them duly. But let's call this what it was, a Joe Canning masterclass. A great man once said, "There's no show like a Joe show," and as Canning cut over 2 of his 12 scores, there was no doubt that Wexford Park was being treated to the very finest of Joe shows. Canning was replaced at the end of his side's victory, but his injury is not thought to be serious. 4. Kerry's young guns are the real deal. Make no mistake about it. Kerry's opponents Clare Simple did not show up in their Munster semi-final at Fitzgerald Stadium on Saturday. Regardless, the Kingdom's young side, featuring no less than 7 championship debutants, still had to perform, and they did so in convincing fashion. Kerry's forward line were on fire, putting up 32 points against the Banner County. with all 6 of their forwards getting on the scoresheet within the first 21 minutes and Paul Genie and Seamus O'Shea putting up 7 points each. Kerry were offensively dominant and defensively solid. Another Munster final awaits Eamon Fitzmaurice's men, as they seek a 6th provincial title in a row, but on the basis of this performance, Kerry could well look ahead to a trip to Croke Park in early September. 3. The Munster Hurling Championship is the GAA's most exciting competition. The GAA faithful were treated to 2 of the most exciting games of hurling in recent memory this weekend, as 14-man Limerick snatched a late draw with Cork and Tipperary came back from 11 points down to grab a point against Waterford in just 16 second-half minutes. Both games coming from the Munster Hurling Championship. The newest format of the competition has consistently been delivering high-quality and exciting games, and it's only 3 games in. The competitive nature of almost every game and the high-scoring end-to-end tempo displayed makes it the GAA most exciting competition today. 2. Fermanagh's dog defence paid dividends. In what was undoubtedly the performance of the GAA weekend, Fermanagh edged out an Ulster semi-final victory over heavily favoured Monaghan at Healy Park. Rory Gallagher's men displayed a ferocious defensive tenacity which Conor McManus and co. in the Monaghan attack consistently struggled to break down. Much has been made of the negativity of defense-first tactics in the GAA and how it's hurting the game, but it's hard to argue when a system is as effective as Gallagher and Fermanagh's was at the weekend. Who knows, it could even land them their first ever Ulster senior football crown come June 24. 1. The use of Hawkeye needs to be expanded. As much as technology is often shunned in many modern sports, there's no question that it's key to their development. Jason Ford's pot shot was caught and fumbled on his own goal line by Waterford's Austin Gleeson, and the umpire began wildly waving his white flag. It was almost as though you could already hear the whisperings of days of controversy that would surely follow it. The decision to award the goal was unquestionably the wrong one, and the GAA need to expand their Hawkeye system to deal with goals as well as points. The Irish Independent have reported that the GAA are intending on reviewing the technology, which is a good step forward, but that will likely be little consolation to Derek McGrath and co.